Okay, I'm reloaded. What makes NBA players today overrated for the most part? Well, it's by default because the NBA more than ever is now a star-driven sport, right? More than it ever has been. It relies on star power a lot. And the fact that it relies on that, when certain stars go down, they get hurt, certain players that play basketball longer have a tendency for having better seasons. Now, if you're a player that have a better season, people will predominantly say you're a better basketball player than another player. But the reality of the situation is you're not. So that makes you overrated by default because you're the only guy left standing playing because there's a lot of injuries. For example, a guy like the Joker. There's about 8 to 9 players in this league better than the Joker. The Joker is arguably a top 10, yes, but he's not a top 5 player in the world. He kind of never was. But the thing is, a lot of guys that's better than him, more accomplished than him, are hurt. So you have a tendency to say, well, you know what? I think the Joker's better. But in reality of the situation, he's not better. Same thing for Luka. All right? So these guys tend to be overrated because you have no excuse to validate the guys that's better than them because they're not playing. But if you get a full healthy spectrum of guys playing basketball, guess what? That's when the shit starts to hit the fan. That's why when the playoffs come, a lot of guys that you think are great don't step up to the plate, right? Guys like Luka, Joker, heavily underachieve in the postseason. But their MVP candidates for a largely part is because they get hurt less. Now, having a better season does not make you a better basketball player, okay? I repeat that. Having a better season than another player does not make you a better basketball player than them because the other guy that is really better than you, he consistently plays basketball at a higher level than you, period. So there's a reason why certain players get ranked above them, and that is the main reason why you get a lot of overrated basketball players. Then you got traits, okay? I stay on the Joker for a minute. You got the Joker, AD, and Joe Embiid, all right? The Joker may be a better passer than both of those two guys, but at the same time, he plays the 5 position, so him passing the ball is completely irrelevant to being the better basketball player because he's a center. It's not his job to be passing the ball. If he does it, it's a luxury, but it's not going to rule you to be better than another player just because you could pass the ball, okay? Because ultimately a team don't need you to play point guard. That's why it's a team game. A point guard is a playmaker. That's his job, that's his role. So he doesn't need you to do something that a point guard is supposed to be doing. A big man is supposed to be rebounding and defending the rim. That's his main priority. That's his main goal. All right? Just like a shooting guard, his main goal is to be a hybrid of a point guard. Basically, he's a taller version of a point guard. Similar responsibilities, but the scoring responsibilities is heavily more. Okay, he's relied on for scoring a lot, especially if he's a superstar. You know, then he has to play defense on the perimeter end because he can move and about. So that's another reason. But don't get it twisted. Your top 5 may not even be really the top 5 best players in the league. It's just a simple fact. Those guys tend to be healthy more. So by default, you say they're better because they're having a better season. But the Joker is not a better basketball player than, let's say, a Kevin Durant. Luka is not a better basketball player than a Kawhi Leonard, per se. All right? They only get their clout that they get because they're valuable to play. It's just as simple as that. But realistically, they're about top 10 best players in the world. Barely top 5. Prince Sports out. This is the way. Peace.